Hey y'all! Well, you're not seeing double here. We've got two EAR834 clones. I just recently finished this one on the channel, and then I built this one. As you can see the difference in the two. This one has the gold trim on the switch, RCA jacks, and then a brass ground connector on the front. And this one's got the silver trim. Silver switch, silver trim on the front, silver name, gold name. So, same deal. They both have Mundorf coupling caps. They both got Hammond chokes and EI power transformers. Top mounted to keep it away from the circuitry. They're basically identically built. This one's got the rear power caps are a little different than these, but they're the same, basic family of capacitors. Remember on this one I had to put the capacitors on the underside. Well, I found some that would fit on the top side for this build with these shorter standoffs, so the tubes stick out a little more than on my previous versions and my own personal one. And makes the tubes easier to swap in and out. And also on these that I'm going to be selling, they've got a bottom plate. There's a dolly here. They got a bottom plate on them, drill some holes down on this end for ventilation so that the air will kind of come in the bottom, go across, and then come out around these holes. And the heat from the tubes creates like a chimney effect, so it'll pull the air up from underneath. They have little feet on the bottom to hold them up so they got, air can get underneath it. They don't run real hot anyway. A lot of these preamps, the commercial ones that they have, the China ones that have, hodgepodge of resistors and all that kind of stuff, they actually are inside of a box with no ventilation, and the whole thing's just sealed up, and they don't have a problem. So, not going to have an issue with that. If you've seen on my build, I hand test and replace and select every resistor that goes into these things. I put the higher current transistor on the voltage supply, use mica capacitors for the RIA network, and use super precision resistors for that part of the circuit to make sure that the equalization's good. Got electroharmonic 7025 tubes in it. I was originally thinking about selling these with the option of buying them with or without the tubes, but then after that KT120 fiasco, it's like, nope. They're going to get tubes put in them, and I'm going to test them with the tubes that are installed in the positions that they're put in before they go out, so I can ensure that they sound good. So these are going to be burned in for at least 2 hours of actual listening. Going to ensure that they sound, the equal of my own personal one, so you know that when you get one of these, it's going to be as good as the one that I have in my system here, which is freaking awesome. And again, I've sold about a half a dozen of these to local folks, and all I had to do was hook their turntable up, hook this up to the CD input on their whatever they were using, put a record on, and they were opening their wallet up. How much does one of these cost? And so I think you're going to feel the same way. This is kind of testing the market. I don't know if there's an appetite for stuff like this, and there is quite a bit of work into building these. And these are aluminum Hammond chassis that have been painted with Krylon textured black paint. This isn't powder coat, so I'm not going to try to push this off as being powder coated, but it's still a really rugged finish, and if you ever do need to refinish it, you can just tape the stuff off and spray bomb, and there you go. You're good to go again. So, anyway, going to put these up for sale, $800 a piece. And like I said, they come with a fresh set of tubes. They're going to be burned in. They got high quality brass jacks that have the soldered directly to the body of the jack, and just like I would do for myself. And honestly, I think this is a reasonable price. if you look up other even kind of mid-level phono stages, they're all $800 to $1,000 and then just go up from there. And there's no really nice, hand-built, hand-tested tube preamps on the market anywhere near this price. And so, we'll see what happens. The other thing that I'm doing is I'm only selling them for this price to my Patreon supporters. And I told you guys that supported my Patreon that, there was going to be a perk for supporting me other than just, liking my channel and giving me your support. You guys are going to be where these are put up for sale. And so what I plan on doing is posting a notice on Patreon, and then first 2 people by the timestamp that I get I want one, those are the people that'll get them. And again, if it looks like there's a market for these, I think this is something that I could build in my spare time and maybe put out, a few of them every couple of months, every 2 or 3 months or something like that. And I added up the parts list, and just the cost of the parts with the shipping from the different places, because some of it comes from here, some of it comes from there, and all that stuff. When you add all this stuff up, there's over $500 worth of parts in these things. So if you wanted to build one yourself, you're only spending a few $100s more, and you're getting one that's hand built by me, tested, and you just plug it in and go. So anyway, hopefully some of you guys will take advantage of this. And I've talked about making other projects and kits and possibly building that 6SQ7 EAR834 amp. I toyed with that idea when I first made the channel about building those and selling those for $1,200 to $1,500 or something like that. And I'm thinking it through. There's so much more chance of having problems with a power amplifier or somebody not being happy with it, or because it is kind of subjective whether you like that sound or not. I don't know what kind of speakers they're going to hook them up to, all of that stuff. And there just seemed like a lot more risk to trying to make those a commercial project. Plus there's a whole lot more time in the fabrication and assembly work on those than there is in these. And the other reason that I feel good about selling these, to the public is, while there's some high voltage in here, it's not 600 volts. There's 200 something volts in the tubes, which is still enough to electrocute somebody, but it's not a whole lot more than what's in the outlet, and it's no more than what the wall jack is over in Europe. And so that makes me feel a little more comfortable. The boards were actually put in products that people have used. It's a well-known board and well-known circuit and all that stuff. And I've had a couple of these out in the field now for over a year. One guy especially, he listens to his every day, and nobody has had any problems with these. And so I know these tubes are good. I know, the new tubes, so you're not going to have an issue with any of that. And I can test these things, and I know they'll sound good whatever they're hooked into. If you like the way your turntable and your amp and your speaker combo sound now, this is just going to enhance it. So anyway, I'm kind of excited about this. And I know this isn't like a Skunky Designs total thing, but you still get my logo on here. And I'm also going to number them, stamp them. This will be number 1 and number 2. And if you do want these, you need to let me know which one you want. And I'm going to go by the first email I get gets their choice. So, again, whoever's quickest order one will get to choose whether they want the gold or the silver, and then the other person gets the other one. Or if they really want one or the other, like if they really wanted a silver one and somebody else bought the silver one, I can build them another one, but it just might take a little while. So anyway, I think this is a good start to do something, and I really enjoy just soldering up these boards. It's very relaxing, and the fab work, it doesn't take me long to do these now. I've kind of got a rhythm on, drill this stuff out, and I've got a pattern that I can just kind of measure out and lay it out. And plus it's all shown on, I've done 2 different video series on these things. And so if you want to build them yourself, you can. But this is an opportunity for people that maybe don't have a lot of DIY skills and they want to experience what a really good sounding tube phono preamp sounds like. I mean, it works great with a solid state power amp or receiver or whatever you have. One of the guys has some kind of, it's a AV amp. It's not even like a hi-fi. It was designed for surround sound kind of stuff, and he's using 2 channels of that. But with this and a nice turntable, it sounds awesome. So anyway, going to put these up. Probably going to be about a week. I'm actually got a lot of stuff going on next week. I'm really not going to have time to box these up and get them ready to mail and everything. So watch the Patreon site for the announcement that these are for sale. And again, thank you all you Patreon folks. I really appreciate your support. And also you folks that make direct donations to my website. Super appreciate that too. Plus I appreciate all you subscribers and you guys that watch my videos. Without your support and your interest, I probably wouldn't keep doing this, or at least not making videos of it. I'd just be building this stuff for myself down in my basement here, and none of y'all would get to enjoy or learn stuff from this content. So anyway, until the next video, have a nice day.